Drink beer, it's good for you. I'm empty-handed and I'm feeling blue, and I'm gonna drink till the day that I die.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'll be doing something quite different. Yes, for a start you now know what I look like, so now you know why I prefer to be on the other end of the camera. But okay, I digress. I'm going to talk about myself and also the future of this channel. If this has no interest for you, then I respect that. In some ways this video should never have been needed, but I'm doing it anyway for good reason, as will be revealed. I could have simply written this as a letter on various Facebook groups, but I want this to be a permanent fixture on my channel for reference for the future. So when I first started this channel, and as the years have gone by, I've made the definite decision for the channel to speak for itself. I did not really want to appear to be boastful of my background or achievements, nor use them as a hook for viewers. I just wanted the content to speak for itself. I am also a very private person by nature, and really did not, and still to this day, see what business it is of others what I do for a living or anything like that. On top of this, I made it very known that if people needed help or advice, I was more than happy to assist them via various different platforms. So on an average day, I spend at least 2 hours answering people's questions, and I enjoy this. I did at one point make it known that I am actually an ex-commercial brewer, but you would really have to hunt through my videos to find it. The vast majority of my viewers have been fantastic in their support and enthusiasm for what I do. But there have been some naysayers who just want me to reveal all of my private life and working life for their scrutiny. I have always found this quite strange, seeing as my channel really just focuses on teaching things like brewing practices and recipes. I do from time to time cover products, but this is really in a very low amount of what I actually do overall. At the times that I have actually done an actual review, I state very clearly that this channel is just me. I am totally independent. Nobody pays me, bribes me, or asks me or orders me to make videos. There simply is no commercial connection, never has been and never will be. But some people simply do not accept this. Some people have actually been very rude and abusive about this too. But hey, that's okay, I can shrug all this off, as I can really give as good as I get. So anyway, in the interests of being more transparent, let's start with some of my background. My father was brewing all the way through my childhood. I brewed my first beer at 14, and I worked as a commercial brewer at 16. Some years later I got myself qualified, and some years after that I became accredited as a master brewer. I have worked at various different breweries over a period of many years. Due to the way that game was going with penny pinching brewery management, the 6-day working week and often 12-hour days, and the fact that the large organisations were swallowing small good breweries really was enough for me. I then started working as a brewery consultant with my own company. Later on I met my now wife and then moved to Norway and went into the homebrew industry. I then worked in management at a chain of homebrew stores. I then formed my YouTube channel with primitive beginnings using the Grainfather simply because it was the brewing system I chose and used. Before this, I only used equipment that I had actually made myself. Grainfather noticed my channel and reached out to me by supplying products for me to test, and if I wanted to, then I would review them. There was never any pressure on me or obligation, and the understanding was that I could just tell it how it was. They never paid me to do this, and I never asked to be paid. They never told me what to say, and it worked well. Then, as a self-employed man, I did start to work for the company on a subcontractor basis, supporting retailers and wholesalers in the Nordics. Some of you will have seen these seminars that I held around these countries, that are Norway, Denmark, Sweden and Finland. I made it very clear before the start of this work though, that my YouTube channel was always to remain my own, and my opinion and content are not for sale. Not once did anyone at the company argue this, nor tell me anything any different. They respected it and wanted the channel to continue independently. This work came to an end last year, and I declined what was offered in its place because I simply had better offers. I have a great deal of respect for the company and its products, and the plan moving forward is for my channel to still continue in covering new products from this manufacturer, but always with my independence. I now work for a major retailer and wholesaler in Norway, again obviously with homebrew items. This new company sells a huge range of items from many different suppliers. My job is again involving homebrew retailers, but also supply to breweries, which certainly makes a nice interesting change. It also means that I have easy access to more homebrew related items, which is very nice. This job of mine now also involves a company who want my channel to remain private and non-commercial, which is really just as well, because this is a non-negotiable point for me. One guy even accused me recently for working for RoboBrew, just because I had bought one and did a comparison of the system versus the Grainfather, and then did a quick start guide for the RoboBrew. The comparison was made with what I would call a very neutral stance, and I highlighted the pros and cons of both, but some people just don't watch the content, they just make comment. So no, I do not work for RoboBrew. Sometimes I just wish that people would think before they make comment, or at least ask me before forming an opinion. Another guy, who it turns out actually works as a general manager for a large homebrew business in the UK, even got really far ruder and started making demands on my channel for all my private information. I gave him what I felt comfortable with, but for these types it's never enough. The funny thing was that at that point I had no idea that he was in the industry himself. He then had the audacity to start this up again on a Facebook group. Kudos and thanks to those that saw my replies to him and gave me a thumbs up. He didn't comment further when I revealed that his only problem was that I now had suddenly featured a different product on my channel that his company did not sell. A simple click on his name on Facebook revealed who he worked for. Not a great advertisement for the company, especially when the general manager appears to be a complete arsehole. Let's hope he at least finds his missing brain and deletes these comments. Thankfully for him, they are quite buried under a very busy thread. If some of you still think that I have bias, or I am not independent, then I will ask you this. Why is it, in that case, that the vast majority of my content is just teaching people brewing tips, tricks and skills? Commercial channels just do reviews and product focus. If this doesn't convince you, then fine. Please just stop watching right now. I'm really done arguing. I would really rather use my spare time making content for people who actually appreciate the time and effort that goes into all of this. Start an argument with me if you like, but I will not reply with anything but a link to this video. Okay, so those of you that are still here, thank you so much for your very kind support for my efforts and with this channel. It has always been a great pleasure to help you in any way that I can. I have made some great friends in doing this, and I applaud you all. Okay, so let's now finish off by talking about the future. Well, I really love the feedback that I've had from you all in respect of my new style of brewing videos that teach a beer style, from competition notes through to how to write recipes of your own to that style. For me, the fun of all of this is writing my own recipes and trialing different versions and moving towards a finished final recipe. I will be using different types of brewing systems as well as my trusty Grainfather. The very next video after this one will be back to brewing content, and I will be looking at a brewing technique that I really like and I really want to share with you. I will be doing this brew on a system that comes from Norway that many of you may not be aware of, that is simply brew porn. Here, have a look at this. I will not be reviewing it in this video though, just showing you some brew footage. The review will come in the future when I have had more testing time with it. After this, I imagine it will be more style videos, because this is what I consider to be the main content here. So with this all now done, I call an end to all this silliness. Let's just focus on brewing rather than childish accusations. So until then, happy brewing!